You're live on your election command center, that is TV3. Now, after launching their 2016 manifesto in the Brong Ahafo Region, the presidential nominee of the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, this week told the Brong Ahafo Region to canvass for votes in the December polls. In the 2012 elections, the NDC candidate, John Mahama, had 51.49% after securing over 500,000 votes, whilst the NPP's Nana Akufo-Addo had 47% by securing 469,000 votes. We'll be taking you through some history in the region as well. Let me take you through the history of the presidential elections in the Brong Ahafo region since the return to democratic rule in 1992. So there you have it, the figures on your screen. Jerry John Rawlings, who represented the NDC in 1992, had 243,361 votes, representing 61%. That is a win that he cherished most during that time. Now, the MPP on their ticket had Albert Kwejo Adubwahin, who scored or had 116,000 votes, representing just 29, I must say, 0.5%. In 1996, the election that went on also had Jerry John Rawlings having 61.73%, representing 395,000 votes. John Ejekum Kufuor, on the other hand, also had 35.98% of the total votes cast. Let's do a quick move into 2000, the year 2000, when John Ejekum Kufuor won the election. Now, in the Brong Ahafo region, this time around, he had 50.58%. That is about 306,000 votes that he got in the Brong Ahafo region. For the NDC's John Atamils, he had 44% of the total valid votes cast. That is about 270,000 votes. In 2000 election runoff as well, the MPP's John Ejekum Kufuor scored 59%. That was a huge jump, and that was represented by votes of 337,000 votes. Let's get into the studio and do some analysis on the swing region, that is the Brong Ahafo region, where over the years, the two major political parties, the NDC and the MPP, have been basking in on the votes coming in from that region. Let's get in touch and speak to David Agbe. He's Executive Director of Ghana Institute of Governance. He is going to help us do some analysis of the region and how the various political parties had fared over the years. So, as I told you earlier, we've been joined in the studios by David Agbe. He's Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. He's going to help us do some analysis of Brong Ahafo region, which happens to be a swing region in the country. Good evening, sir, and thanks for your time.
Yes, good evening, Edward.
First of all, do you agree that the Brong Ahafo region is even a swing region?
Yes, I must say, I mean, looking at the historical figures that you've projected so far, suggests that it is a swing region. But then looking at the electoral results as we have it now, from 1992, you know, the former president Jerry John Rawlings won. 1996 too, he won. And the margin is so huge, 61% all over, 61, 61, 61. And then 2000, the former president John Ejekum Kufuor also won. And he won 2004 as well. 2008, the dynamics actually changed. You know, the election...
Yes, he lost the election.
Yes, went into the second round before NDC was able to, you know, win political fortune in Brong Ahafo. And 2012 too, they won again. So comparatively, you could say that NDC is quite ahead of the MPP in Brong Ahafo, you know, region as you speak.
So in general, it's not a swing region?
I mean, looking at all the factors that we've just mentioned, and the figures suggest that the NDC is far ahead of the MPP. Looking at the electoral, fortunes, 1996, 1992, 2008, and then 2012. They've won almost about 4 elections in that region, and MPP has won 2000 and 2004. And 2008, they nearly even won. The first round, MPP won. On the second round, when we have to go to time before NDC won with almost about 51%. So it suggests that NDC has a political advantage in Brong Ahafo.
It is very interesting that you mentioned in time when Professor Mills moved there and was able to combat support.
I was there myself in 2008.
Won the second round of elections. Will you say that the Brong Ahafo region has over the years been the determinant factor? Have they been determining who becomes the president?
Yes, basically, having followed election in this country for, quite a reasonable time, from 1992 up to now, I can say that yes, Brong Ahafo Central Region, they are the key, regions for both NDC and MPP to actually win an election in this country. If you are able to win election in Brong Ahafo, there is that likelihood that you could win the general election. I mean, historically, MPP, because of their tradition, and the former president, Buzia, comes from Brong Ahafo. So they were having a certain political fortunes. But along the line, when the former president, Rawlings, stepped in, because of his charisma, throughout, he has won almost all the elections in this country, and the record suggests that nobody, almost 57%, since then, nobody has even won election in this country, almost about 57, 58%. And in Brong Ahafo, when he won 61%, 1992, nobody has been able to break that record. 1996 too, the same thing. And so because of his charisma and because of his personality and everything, people tend to project him more, and he's always there to be able to support the underground people. And so people like him, they love him, and more to the point to be able to win an election, the political identification is also key. If your political party has a certain level of identification, voting behavior of people in political science is a very complex issue. And for people to be able to vote for a presidential candidate, they are looking at what we call psychological factors. They will be looking at psychological factors, they will be looking at social factors, and then they will be looking at the economic factors. These are generally elections, voting behavior of human beings. This is how they looked at issue. They looked at it from psychological perspective that, what are you using the media very well? So the way media carries your story tend to influence, people's, behavior and perception here and there. And elections is also about the marketing tools, ability to use your marketing tool very well and your communication skills. So people are looking at the psychological way of you playing politics. And so that is why in politics, in political science, people say all factors are very key in winning elections. So you have to look at multi-facets of all issues and be able to play it very well for you to be able to win political power. If you looked at the social factors, people are looking at the fact that Edward is sitting here, David Agbe is here. Do I have a certain level of allegiance with him? Do I have a certain level of confidence in him? And more to the point too, people tend to look at, if I should change, what is going to be the alternative? So looking at the unknown factors, people are also looking at the unknown. Now I know you, we have a certain level of relations. So I could call you, you could also call me. So we have that level of identification, we can be able to chat with one another. So if I associate myself with you, I know that if I should change or you should change, it will have a certain negative effect on me. And people are also looking at economic factors. So in this country, people are looking at, oh, you have to vote based on issues. You are talking about issues. My issue is not your issue. I could be looking at economic factors. You could be looking at the social factors. Other person could be looking at psychological factors. So winning an election, you need everything together. You need to be able to have a political party that has a certain level of identification. You need to have a political party that has a flag bearer which people can affiliate and they can have a sense of belonging and could be able to say that, yes, this is a personality that I need to, vote for. People are also looking at religious factors. People are also looking at about, ethnicity, where I come from, where you come from, and so many other factors that people, looked at before they go in there to be able to vote. So election is not based on rational factors alone. People are looking at all kinds of factors. People could vote based on irrational factors that you think that, no, that person shouldn't have voted for this person. But then I am also looking at what will actually satisfy me if I should vote for Edward Kobe. What will be my political advantage? What will be my benefit? Or do I have a sense of belonging? Do I have a certain level of factors that will also motivate me? So you are looking at the intrinsic factors and you are looking at extrinsic factors too. What will bring you monetary value? What will also bring me psychological value? Do I have that sense that if I should vote for this person, I am protected? My identification is there. You are not going to disgrace me. And then, when you study what we call human behavior, you looked at the fact that people always, want to look at the dignity of a human being. And in human rights, people are looking at the dignity. So in human rights perspective, in academia, human rights looking at the fact that my dignity is something that God has endowed in me and nobody can take it. So as soon as I see you as trying to threat my dignity, I will vote against you.
Very well.
So but there are so many factors that people looked at before, going to the polls and vote.
We don't have much time on our hands, but the second leg of this conversation will focus on endorsements by chiefs. But let me quickly take you back. You spoke about Buzia and his affiliation to the Brong Ahafo Region and the fact that he was able to fetch the MPP some votes. Currently, we have a sitting president having the wife from the Brong Ahafo Region. Madam Lordina Mahama is from the Brong Ahafo Region. Is it going to be an advantage for the incumbent government?
I could say that in Brong Ahafo, the research that we have done there point to the fact that NDC still has a certain level of advantage. In that they've been able to plot a certain... Looked at Johnson Edwin Ketia, who comes from Tyne and its area. You looked at Lordina Mahama, the president's wife, the former NDC organizer, Mr. Boatinjan. And so ability to tap the knowledge base and be able to get people within the region to also support your political ideology also enhances your chances. If you looked at the other political party, for instance, MPP, I would have expected that if MPP had voted for the other man, Mr. The name is not coming, he contested with Mark Menu. If he had actually, they were able to actually outsmart NDC by making sure that that person won to become
Stephen Tim.
Stephen Tim.
Okay.
If they had been able to allow Stephen Tim to actually win to become the campaign's manager, it could have been able to help MPP in Brong Ahafo very well. And so people are looking at, those who are the personalities,
people coming from
who are the personalities behind the party, and do we have our interest? Election is also based on interest. We are having national interest. We want to have a regional interest as well. So if people are able to identify themselves and identify key personalities coming from their region, they will be more affiliated to that political party. And then you veered in by saying that the endorsement by the chiefs, or all those factors play a critical role.
Very well. But let's tackle the second leg of this interview. That has to do with endorsement by chiefs in that area. Nanado went there, they endorsed him. The president has received massive endorsement from some chiefs over there. What does it tell us? It looks like we are not seeing a clear view of the stance of the chiefs over there.
Yes, politicians are smart people, and they always want to ensure that they have a certain advantage. And so when you go to a certain region, you can't just go there and say that I am Edward Kwabi. you have to go and pay a courtesy call to the chief and be able to whisper something into his ears. And the chief will also look into your face and be able to tell you that, yes, I am also going to...
Are you saying that endorsement by the chiefs are cosmetic?
It is not cosmetic. Politically, I mean, the chiefs are people within the region. They are well respected. And so the people have a certain level of allegiance to their chiefs.
Is it not double standards? Should you endorse John Mahama and also at the same time endorse Nana Addo?
You could describe it as a double standard, but then the chiefs know exactly what they are looking for. They are looking for their political interest. So the one who is going to bring them some level of development is the one that they are actually going to vote for. So they are not just there as a chief, but they are there because of their people need a certain level of development. Their people need a certain level of, you know, some people that they can trust. They need somebody that they can also whisper something into their ears, and that person will also say that, yes, this is what we are also going to do for you. So that is why when you see Nana Addo going around Brong Ahafo Region,
he received the endorsement.
He's identifying his key people that when he wins the election, he will be able to also assist them. Likewise, the NDC is equally doing so. When His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wins the election, he also knows the people who are more affiliated with him, those people who actually like him and they want him to be the president. So there are so many things that, Edward, going into this election, we are looking at, and we are on the ground picking all kinds of information. And tomorrow we'll be at the MPP manifesto launch to see the kind of policies that the MPP is also bringing on board. Then we'll do a comparative analysis between MPP, NDC, and other, you know, political, you know, parties, so that we'll be able to tell ourselves and advise ourselves that these are the policies that people are projecting. So the voters, what are you doing? Do you think that these people will be able to champion a certain good policies that will be able to enhance,
has been well made,
you know, the economic fortune of this country?
Mr. David Agbe is Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance. And of course, this very manifesto launch will be live on your election command center, TV3 and all its affiliated stations, and we'll be bringing you live coverage of that as well. We're grateful that you could join us tonight.
Thank you very much.
David Agbe is Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. He's been speaking to us about the swing region in the country.